So this week's topic is the cross-genre film, and we're going to be mixing up science fiction with other genres. So in the mid-1970s, science fiction was more or less doing the same thing it had been doing before, covering some of the same topics, still dealing with dystopias and Death Race 2000, Logan's Run, Aliens, like in The Man Who Fell to Earth, which is a very strange David Bowie film where he plays a space vampire, and also Evil Computers, kind of a new thing. Demon Seed somehow manages to impregnate a woman. I'm not sure how they get that to work. But then something happened that changed everything, and that was Star Wars. So in 1977, Star Wars was released, and it changed the face of science fiction. And for a lot of good reasons. It's actually a Western, a samurai film, and a war film set in space. And if you've watched a lot of samurai films and Westerns, you'll actually see some scenes that are actually lifted explicitly from films. But it never really actually talks about science. But the thing that Star Wars did was it made a lot of money. And so that tended to be something that people wanted to continue doing through the late 1970s and into the 80s. But it's a formula that's really hard to copy. So anytime they tried to do it, they didn't have a whole lot of success. So Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, I saw it when I was a kid, but I don't think it's been seen by anybody since then. And also Black Hole, it had the cute cuddly robots, things like that, but it just wasn't that great of a film, and it kind of fell apart, and Disney moved away from serious films again. So big fat disasters. There are a lot of other big flops that tried to be like Star Wars, but it just didn't work very well. The thing that did work was mixing other genres. So you get the right combination of genres, you can end up making quite a good film. So you mix adventure and science fiction, you can come up with something pretty cool. Comedy and sci-fi, although there aren't a whole lot of comedy sci films, and particularly horror and sci-fi. And that's what we're going to talk about specifically this week is horror and science fiction put together. So that is a lesson definitely well learned from Star Wars. So the film is The Thing, also known as John Carpenter's The Thing, based on the short story by John Campbell called Who Goes There? And it appeared in a science pulp, Astounding Science magazine. And I've also included a copy of that, or a link to that, in our lessons pack for this week. Now, the first adaptation of it was the 1951 film, which is The Thing from Another World, directed by Howard Hawks. A fine film in its own right. Not that frightening of a film, and also the alien was basically a giant carrot. At least that's the way they refer to it. So they said he's like a giant vegetable. And it's really hard to get frightened of a giant vegetable, unless you already have a phobia of vegetables, and I don't even know what that phobia is called. The 1982 version, which is the one we're watching, was an attempt to create a more faithful adaptation of the story, and the emphasis is placed on the monster and its physical manifestations and its ability to change. And also, that's where the horror is. You don't know who's the thing and who's a human, and the monster can take any shape or form. And this being made in the early 1980s, this is pre-digital, before they had digital effects, and all the effects in this are mechanical, which is pretty amazing considering what they look like. Of course, they're all shrouded in smoke and murk, ways to make it look realistic without and it's all made out of latex and things like that. But this was really kind of the pinnacle of pre-digital special effects. There were a few films of this era that really, really looked cool, had really good special effects. When you go back and look at those, sometimes some of it looks a little bit fake, but sometimes digital effects do as well. So in this film, the Thing has no specific shape or personality. It can be anything it absolutely wants to, and the film is going to play on human characters' paranoia and suspicions, who is infected, and of course the original title, Who Goes There? So we're definitely dealing with our soft science elements, not just biology and physiology, but also psychology as well. Enjoy.